Welcome to our little video discussion on high fertility and chemistry management in potatoes. My name is Tommy Roach. I'm here with two other gentlemen, Jonathan and Luke, and they will be presenting after I get done as well. Let me share my screen. All right, so the official title of our discussion today is The Future of High Yield and Quality, Precision Chemistry and Fertility Advancements. So again, my name is Tommy Roach, VP of Product Development and Technical Services with Nachurs Alpine Solutions. I'm located in Lubbock, Texas. We're here with Luke Radford with Moss Farms and Jonathan Adamson with Vive Crop Protection. So we'll dive right into our discussion. So let's talk a little bit about fertility opening up. We all know that potassium and nitrogen are very important in potato production. But if you notice, don't let phosphorus lull you to sleep, so to speak, even though the nutrient requirements are not that great. They still require soluble and available phosphorus for adequate plant growth and development. And this kind of illustrates this. If you'll notice the percent utilization of phosphorus, it is actually greater than potassium and greater than nitrogen. So it really doesn't matter which potato you're growing, whether it's fingerlings or baby potatoes, russets, chippers. It really doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter who you're growing them for. You could be growing them for a large processor, going to fresh pack, but we're all after the same thing: tuber quality, storage potential, and then total as well as marketable yield. So let's talk about phosphorus a little bit. What's the role that phosphorus plays in potato development? We all know that it influences tuber set and number. In all plants, it is an active participant in root development and cell division. It has an effect on starch synthesis, leaf area and canopy development. It is the cellular component of a plant, comprised a component of phospholipids, phosphoroproteins, and specific to a potato plant, it is involved in gravity and tuber solids. And if you look over here on the right, if all you did was increase nitrogen rates, you can tell that you're going to have a decrease in specific gravity or solids, but yet if you increase your P2O5 rate at the same time, you will maintain or improve your specific gravity. So what are the limitations on phosphorus uptake in a potato plant? So the first one is if you look at root architecture of a potato plant, you're going to see a huge difference between a potato plant on the left and a corn plant here in the middle. Much more root mass on a corn plant, and it's not just a corn plant. You can compare it to wheat, sugar beets. All other plants really have much more root mass or root density than a potato plant. That, coupled with the percentage of root hairs that a potato plant has compared to sugar beet or wheat, and this is where your nutrients are taken up from. So you've got a potato plant is basically trying to swim uphill. So secondly, we have environmental interactions that we have to consider. So here in the central U.S., where the basic, the major cation is calcium. Of course, that ties up phosphorus. If you get into the PNW, in the southeast, around the Great Lakes, and even up in the northeast, you run into aluminum and iron because of the lower pH. And actually, those two elements will fix more phosphate than calcium does. So thirdly, we all know that orthophosphate is the form of phosphorus that is taken up by the plant. So all of those gallons of 1034O, 1137O that we often apply with the planter, say in a band, those have to convert to polyphosphate in order for the plant to take it up. And the rate of conversion is going to be influenced by pH, moisture, temperature, as well as biological activity of the soil. There is also a phosphorus source by variety interaction that we have to deal with as well. So if you look at the variety here on the left, we see that it responded more to orthophosphate than to all these sources of and combinations of polyphosphate over here to the right. Conversely, here's another variety that responded pretty equally to orthophosphate, and then this was a 75-25 ortho to poly combination here. This variety, it basically didn't matter if you looked at orthophosphate or polyphosphate, it all reacted the same. So in some of our work that we've been doing over the last several years, looking at this source by yield interaction. So here's russet varieties, typically a Burbank, and this is a 624-6, which would be a 80-20 ortho-poly blend. You can see yield, specific gravity, and over here to the green, which is a 90-10 product that we sell specifically in potato producing areas. And you can see a slight increase in yield and a slight increase in specific gravity. So lastly, there's a low adoption of phosphorus efficiency products being utilized in the marketplace. There's been all sorts of research going back to, and this was back in the early 2000s, looking at the influence that organic acids, specifically, this was specifically humic acid, has on yield. So there is, humic acids do influence yield. Here's some of our more recent work that we've been looking at. On chip varieties, we're looking at different humic acids, fulvic acids, and in research work last year, we showed a 32 bag increase utilizing those type of organic acids over a standard in furrow treatment that you see up here at the top. Here's your russet breakdown over here to the right. And again, 21 bag increase by utilizing, in this case, some form of organic acid added to the in-furrow fertility. Another one is the utilization of what's referenced to as value-added potassium fertilizers, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But when you added value-added potassium fertilizers to, in this case, wheat, we increased phosphorus utilization by almost 11% over the standard NPK treatment. And down at the bottom, this is corn. By adding a value-added potassium fertilizer, to the NPK, we improved phosphorus utilization by roughly 6%. So if we look at it specifically in potatoes, when we add our value-added potassium fertilizer, which is potassium acetate. So here's the grower standard over here to the left. Here's your in-furrow fertility. In this case, it's 624-6. And when we add potassium acetate to that in-furrow 624-6, not only did we improve yield, we improved phosphorus use efficiency, as well as the fry color over both the 624-6 and the grower standard. So there's really little thought or consideration amongst growers that I see given to where should we actually apply or place phosphorus. Instead, most of them utilize this concept. We've always done either a dry application of MapRDAP or say a banded 1034-0 or 1137-0. So you know what, we've been getting good yields. That's what we're going to do this year. And you really can't blame them because growers seem to not have any problem on a year in and year out basis of filling their storage bins with good quality potatoes. But here is one thing that we do need to consider. All of those gallons of ammonium polyphosphate that we're utilizing at planting, which could be anywhere from 20 to 40 gallons, if we don't over time watch what we're doing with the applied nutrient load, we could run into what Washington State is publicizing on their website, and in this case, nitrogen and phosphorus are causing algae growth in lakes. And then, of course, everybody's seen the pictures of Lake Erie algae bloom on a yearly basis. So the trick is supplying the plant with a balanced nutrient diet and keeping those nutrients on target to where they don't run off and cause harm to the environment. Placement, especially phosphorus, has been studied for many years. This is a picture dating back to 1937 in North Carolina. We know that phosphorus, when placed in the soil, does not move hardly any as compared to nitrogen as well as to potassium. That phosphorus compound has got to be within, say, 2 to 4 millimeters of that root for it to be taken up. Studies over the years, and this was a banded versus non-banded application over broadcast P, and as you can see, banding phosphorus does result in yield advantage over just a dry broadcast application of phosphorus. Some work done in India shows the value of applying in-furrow phosphorus versus banded or versus dry broadcast. So there are advantages to getting that phosphorus in the furrow at planting so that young seedling can have access to it as it is starting to grow. Here's one of our growers in Maine, and you can see they have nice planters set up. They are able to apply not only 2x2 phosphorus, but 2x2 plus in furrow, and you can tell the difference in where they were able to apply in furrow phosphorus. Some of our work at Oregon State the last couple of years is looking at this very phosphorus placement, So here is your 1034 banded. Here's your total yield, market yield. And then we take some of the banded 1034 and exchange it for in-furrow 624-6. Here's your total yield. Here's your market yield. We see an increase, a pretty sizable increase. Now, when we add that potassium, that value-added potassium fertilizer to the 624-6, we see yet another yield increase as well as your market yield over here. So there are advantages of getting that nutrition in the furrow. The one problem that we have, though, is generally growers have a limited amount of take space on a planter. One typically for chemistry, one typically for banded 1034-0. And as we know, there's a lot of chemistries out there that will not mix properly with fertilizers, especially potassium, phosphorus containing fertilizers. So there are ways around that, and that is where Jonathan and Luke will expand on that and see what they do in their programs to combine chemistry with phosphorus containing fertilizers. Here's my contact info, and I thank you for your attention today.
Welcome. I'm glad to be here. My name is Jonathan Adamson with Vive Crop Protection, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here with Tommy and Luke. And just as Tommy was sharing with you, we're excited to partner and collaborate to talk about some things that are very important in the potato world. You may be asking yourself, why would a chemical company partner with a fertility company? And really that comes down to kind of what Tommy hit on just as he was wrapping up, is the ability to get products that make a difference at the farm level. We know that fertility makes a huge difference in your operation and the ability to grow a premier crop and drive yields and drive quality. And so at Vive, we care about precision chemistry. We care about the ability to continue to drive those yields and drive that quality. And we really feel like, what is precision chemistry and what does it mean to you? And what does it do for you? So precision chemistry is that third leg of the precision ag stool. You already have quality, precision equipment and data that you use on a day-to-day aspect of your farm, and you are making decisions based on the ability to fine-tune and make your operation more efficient, reduce costs, get better and more, quality applications rather than quantity, so to speak. And with our precision chemistry, we can help address some of those issues that growers have when it comes to applications of chemicals and pesticides in and on the farm. We are able to do that through our allosperse technology. Allosperse is essentially a nanopolymer technology. I like to use the analogy, if you want to think of Ant-Man, we're talking on a very, very small scale, and this is the small scale that all of your root hairs, your leaf cuticles, everything that the plant and the soil works on that level, that is the level that we create our products on. And this nanopolymer shuttle allows that pesticide to do things differently at the grower level. It allows you to be better and more efficient and do things that you maybe want to do that you haven't been able to do. Which brings us to the point that we really feel like it's your farm. You should be able to do the things you want to. Don't be hogtied and limited by the things of the past and poorly created products. We know that on your farm you use the most efficient equipment. And if you didn't, you wouldn't be successful. You wouldn't definitely want to go back and start over using outdated technology. That just wouldn't make any sense. And so really, when it comes to our products and why they make a difference, is really it makes sense to use the most efficient crop protection. It allows you to look at things from a nutritional standpoint to do what's correct and right on your farm, and then also have the ability to save water, time, fuel, frustration, and labor from a chemical standpoint, because now you have opportunities to combine products, put products on at the right timing, obviously maybe make some efficiencies in how you make applications, the timing, and ultimately it leads you to being able to make more money. You definitely don't want to have to deal with this. I've been around many different times in my ag career where I've either dealt with this personally when I was in the retail side of things, or as an applicator, and you as a grower, when something like this happens, it just costs you money and it is a headache, and you want to yell and scream at everybody around you because now your operation is slowed down and the efficiency has gone away. We talk a lot about efficiency at Vive, and that's really important to us because that's what you as a grower you value that so much in today's world. Things are happening so fast, and anything that you can do to increase your efficiency makes more sense on the farm. It basically saves time, saves money, and creates opportunities for a return on investment. Here is just a quick slide with our Vive products, being able to mix them in the tank, use less water in doing so as a carrier. This particular application that we did this slide over was being able to lower that water usage, and by doing that increased the efficiency of that planter to about the tune of almost 20 acres a day. How much would that make a difference to you on your farm? Being able to increase your efficiency, plant more, get more done in one day, and have less headache and stress at the farm level. Right here you can see this is a slide that a grower shared with us where they had plug nozzles and the rhizoctonia in those 2 rows that you can see, and throughout this field this happened clear across, where the applicator operator didn't catch it, and really this cost that grower a lot of money. He shared the slide with us, and really his comment was, how much money did I lose? I don't even know how to quantify it, but I know I lost a lot of money. And no one wants to deal with these kind of problems, unplugging nozzles, hauling more water, changing out tips. When it's time to go, when it's time to plant, you want to get the crop in the ground. You want to do it the best way you can. And obviously, at the end of the day, you've got to have the best crop so that you can harvest that crop, put it in the bin, and then reap those profits to pay your expenses. Just a quick look. Our products here on the left side, that left jar, Asteroid FC 3.3 and Midac FC. So we have an azoxystrobin plus an imidacloprid in one jar. This happens to be a jar of 1034O. And then on the right is our competitor's products, just showing you how that looks to you. And that really has made a difference to our growers that have been using our products. They know and they have seen the ability to take those products, put them right to use, and get quality control, and also be able to look at ways to do things on their farm that they want to. Again, with Vive products, we're here to help you save water, time, fuel, a lot of frustration and labor costs, and ultimately drive return on investment and higher qualities and higher yields. I appreciate your time today, and here's my contact information. Again, Jonathan Adamson, Northwest Sales Manager for Vive Crop Protection. And I'm going to turn over the time to Luke Radford, who also is here close by in Idaho. We had the opportunity to work together on an on-farm experience where they were able to utilize some different things and do things differently on their farm. Again, thank you.
So today I want to talk more hands-on with my hands-on experience with different products, both fertilizer and chemical products in furrow, and kind of what I've experienced. So a little background on me. My name's Luke Radford. I'm the agronomist for Moss Farms. I've been with Moss Farms. This is going on to my 4th season with them, working with Dan and Ryan Moss out of Rupert, Idaho. Prior to that, I worked for another ag retailer out of the Magic Valley area, working with potatoes, sugar beets, wheat, corn. And to start out the presentation, here's a picture of me and my son pulling soil samples. And I know it's really basic, but that's where I want to start out, because it's a really cheap investment that helps us make really big decisions. And it helps us utilize and figure out what percentage of NPK we want to put in furrow, in a band, or broadcast. And so and it also helps us to be good stewards of the farm, or the land that we farm. And Tommy kind of showed a slide of what kind of the Great Lakes look like with some algae bloom. And so by utilizing the 4 R's, which is the right rate, the right source, the right time, the right placement, we can help and be more efficient at driving nutrients into the plant, and also be good stewards of the land that we farm. So to go over some terminology, right here we're looking underneath a potato planter. That first arrow, you can see it right here, is looking at the spray nozzle. So that nozzle right there is spraying right into the furrow. And that's where we're putting the Vive products, and also fertilizer. Right here is the 1034-0 1137 product going into a band. And if you can notice, it's offset. And so that way we're getting something on the seed right from the start. And then we're also, as that potato grows out, it's getting fertilizer out of that starter band. But the one thing we don't want to happen is that nozzle plug-in right there. So right here, we're looking at different fertilizers. Fertilizers are extremely important to growing a good potato crop, and it's really important to pick really good products, fertilizer products that mix well, because that's a big key to the whole thing, right? Is we don't want to be hurting our potatoes thinking we're going in there doing something good, and then actually damaging the crop because we're not picking fertilizers that are seed safe. And so Nachurs has some awesome products like the 624-6 or the 318-18. All are good in furrow products. And the next part is chemical. They are extremely important because they are a useful tool in helping us manage pests, fungi, disease, etc. There are 2 options when it comes to chemical applications. We can treat the seed or go in furrow. But for us, we've seen a lot of success by going in furrow and utilizing those tools that are available to us for in furrow application. Azoxystrobin is an awesome chemistry for rhizoctonia, not only on the seed piece, but in furrow, for the soil also. And Asteroid was a product that we looked at this last year versus what we've done in the past. And so what we noticed is, as the solution would get into the tank, we could keep the solution, we could keep everything into solution easier, and we weren't getting caking on the sides of our tank. But we need to make sure we get our tank mixes right. And so right here you can see the different applications that we made in season. at planting, and over time, you see they start to settle out. And that is to be expected. That's not a big surprise. But what I had been thinking about for several years, but haven't really tried out until Jonathan approached me with the Vive products, was how quickly can we get these products back into solution? And that's where I was really impressed, because if you think about it, there's not a lot of agitation that goes on in that tractor tank. And so as they're going across the field, things start to settle and stuff like that. And so you want to be able to get everything back into solution with as minimal agitation as possible. And that's where I was really impressed. And if you do a tank mix and it comes out something like this, you've really messed up, and probably need to go back to the drawing board to figure out what happened, because that is pretty disgusting and is not a good time. By utilizing in-furrow tools that are available to us right now on the market, we can have a successful growing season and ultimately increase yields and be more productive. And that's ultimately what we want, is to be able to plant more acres in a day, harvest more acres in a day, and get more yield so that we can maximize our profits. And so I just want to thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate Tommy, Jonathan, for your time also. Thank you.